This space is dangerous. This space is new. All of these things are just coming out. Everybody has to do their own due diligence and keep themselves safe, because you can get wrecked on all of this stuff.
RG, I want to ask you this. So because you are like the OGest of OG, as far as Hex goes, how are you, and Ewok, I've talked to a lot about this too, because he's pretty much an OG as well too. Now that we have an L1, now that we have Uniswap with PulseX, how do you kind of, and I'm not asking you to like give your portfolio out necessarily, but how do you kind of allocate things with your long-term Hex bags, of which you have many, on the Ethereum and now obviously PulseChain side, but how did you kind of work in like any holdings of Pulse, PulseX, and anything else you may be interested in the ecosystem with your Hexes? I mean, I think it's a different story for you OG guys, because you were so loaded up on Hex, obviously, for the last few years, that it's almost like any sacrifice money maybe you put in for Pulse or PulseX couldn't dare match, what you have there. But I'm just curious, like a guy like you, have you been wanting to more accumulate Pulse and PulseX because of that over the last 6 months or whatever, 5 that it's been out? Or, are you trying to have even bags of all? Is that even really possible? How do you kind of go about that?
So, I hate talking about my own bags, and I won't get into too much details about it, but
Right.
I let my narrative speak for itself. Pulse was made to make Hex better. Hex is already the best crypto that has ever been devised. Period. End of story. Fight me. Hex is better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the GOAT, and Hex is better than Bitcoin. Everybody just has to catch up to the pirate. You have to catch up with me. You'll see. The world will see. It's already in stone. We won. Now, my plan has always been to accumulate as much Hex and as much T-shares as I possibly can. Now, when PulseChain came out, the OGs, those of us who had been around and understood what to do and how to stake, we knew what to do. We knew how to make profits in Hex. And when we made massive gains, when it went from 0.000056 cents to 10,000x to 56 cents or 54 cents or wherever we were at the top. We all had big bags. We were all ready to start buying Lamborghinis, mansions, and rain gutters. And what did we do? Well, Richard said, I'm going to give you guys a gift. I'm going to make Hex better, and I'm going to give you an L1 that's fully decentralized. It's proof of stake. That is going to have all the best of the best L1 that's out and even more. And we're going to give it some bells and whistles, and we're going to do a system state copy to everybody and blah, 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 blah. So what did we do? What did the OGs do? Well, we said, well, you know what? We're going to take some of this profit that Richard has given us with Hex, and we're going to back up his L1. And we're going to get in on it. We're going to all get in on it hard. And we did. And instead of, doing, some concrete work around the house or getting the garbage cans washed along with the rain gutters, we decided that we were going to go all in on Richard's new products, Pulse and PulseX. And so a lot of us did. And we all know, through the cycles and through Richard's teachings, what happens. We know that these things come out the gate strong. And when they come out the gate strong, take some profits and get them best asset. No, buy the best asset around, and that's Hex. Yeah. And that's Hex. So I'm reinvested in Hex. I've got my bags of Pulse. I've got my bags of PulseX. I'm going to contribute to the ecosystem. I'm going to validate. I think that's part of our duties. Like when Satoshi's white paper, when they talk about consensus and the consensus mechanism and the mining and how that works, this is truly the way that community members can be part of the consensus network, is through validating. it takes it's a what do you call it, carbon neutral, or it doesn't waste energy like its footprint is not like the Bitcoin miners footprint, so it improves on that system. It also spreads out the network even more. So now we have 45,000 validators, none of them belonging to the original development team that launched the 11,000 validators. Those 11,000 validators, as soon as they were run over, they were eliminated and the coins were burned. Again, more integrity into the network, more of what Richard Hart is all about, and his tenets and how he wants to operate and function. So here we are. Here we are with the tools to really go and do crypto. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to validate. Will I take a small amount of my bag and degen over on PulseX and that's, I'm going to call, LP providing and whatnot, also part of being part of the community, especially if you're a big bag holder. I think that big bag holders, might have feel a responsibility to go out there and provide for the DEXs and make it more robust. So I'll call that degenning a little bit, and I'll liquidity provide on the blue chips, on the RH blue chips, and and make a little scratch off of the validating and the LP providing and be part of the system, because that's what we're really teaching here. That's what we're evangelizing about, is how do you participate in the system? If you're in Hex, you're a staker. You stake your Hex. Yeah, you can hold it liquid, but you're not participating in the system. You're not participating by being the bank and being the Fed and being the regulator of the system. If you stake, you're the one bringing the inflation out. You're the one holding it for years at a time. You're the one that's bringing it to the marketplace and selling it if you want, or buying more. It's all about participation in this whole new monetary system. And it's what Satoshi's white paper was trying to say. We now have the tools to do that in a decentralized fashion. Now we really can DeFi. We really can crypto. And it's all here. And I'm proof of it now. I am participating in all of it. Call David Fetter. He'll set you up and you're validating and you're part of the system. And instead of 45,000 validators, we're going to have 50,000 in another few weeks, and in 100,000 by the end of the year. I mean, we're already the most decentralized. I think we're the third most decentralized L1 out there. Yeah, and before you know it, we'll be number one. Yeah. Before you know it, we'll be number one. And that's what I do. I don't buy any other cryptos. I'm not involved in any of these airdrops. I'm not involved in any of the other stuff out there. There's a couple of projects that I've even thought about, speaking to. And the first one was Hedron. And the reason I speak about Hedron is because Alex, so Bitcoin proved the concept that we talked about earlier, that exchange of value outside of the banking system over the internet. Ethereum proved the other concept of actually being able to program better cryptos. And then Hex programmed the better crypto and created the T-share, the Nobel Prize-worthy item in the crypto space is the T-share. One day it'll be looked at like that, and Dev Kyle will be freaking held up on a pedestal for doing so. Shout out to Dev Kyle. Yep. One of the greatest guys in crypto. I love that guy. He's a good friend and just one of the best. Integrity, family oriented, understands the space. Just what a salt of the earth human being he is. But anyway, Hedron proved that the T-share is a little nuclear generator that you can wrap things around and build other cryptos. That's where I think Hex's real wheels are going to expand, is when people start to even do more on top of the T-share and with the T-share. There's all kinds of brilliant guys out there that are going to do some very, very cool shit, So I think, and I'm losing my train of thought. I was trying to talk about Where were we?
Were you just talking? The initial question was like just how you would split up those bags and how you do it and everything. And you know, obviously Hex is the main asset for you.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other stuff. But yeah, and so Hedron was that one, and then I'm really enjoying one of the teams out there. And I'm not talking about their coin or any of the stuff that they're doing with that, but the Tang Gang is really showing how community marketing and development should be. They went out there and just started memeing and promoting people that wanted to put their artwork and their music and all these things up on finally an L1 that is fully decentralized, that people can actually do this and afford to do this. So any artist can go and put their wares on the PulseChain. And these guys are showing people how to do it for free. They're showing people how to do it, and they're getting behind those projects, and they're helping out. And that's what I really like about the Tang Gang and all those guys and what they're doing. They're just promoting machines. They're really what community is developing into, which is, you know, a marketing arm of the crypto space. And it's organic. Like all of us here are organic. All of us streamers are organic. This community is organic. We were forged in the fires of the financial crisis and the crypto crisis. And here we are, the best of crypto, the people that had it up to here with finance, government, banks, and the crypto idiots that are out there, the maxis, the assholes that have screwed us for so long and held us back for so long. This community has risen from from those ashes of that flame and is just the best. And that's how my bags are. I don't promote any of that other stuff, but I'm rooting for every single one of those tokens and those projects out there, from Liquid Loans and Power City and PHUX and 9inch and all these other things that are being built out there. I'm rooting for all of them. I'm not promoting any of them because this space is dangerous. This space is new. All of these things are just coming out. Everybody has to do their own due diligence and keep themselves safe, because you can get wrecked on all of this stuff. But I'm rooting for all of them, every single one of them. I want them all to do well, because they're bringing products to market that we need. They're replacing banking products. And now that they have PulseChain, they're coming. And Richard has absolutely nothing to do with any of them. His teams might be, the devs might be, you know, consulting with them and helping them out a little bit with some of the technicals. But, you know, Richard doesn't have anything to do with all that. He built an L1 that people can build on now. So that's where my money is. My money's in the three bigs, and that's where I stay. And that's where I tell everybody if they're investing in anything, you know, don't ever invest more than you can afford to lose. And, you know, get yourself into those three. The other stuff is just eye candy, and it's got to prove itself.
Boy, well said. Epic rant right there. And it leads me to the next thing I wanted to ask you, which is, so this BitBoy divorce. No, but really well said. And I want to say what you said about Hedron too, and what Alex McWhorter's been doing there. Obviously, he has stuff coming down the pike, apparently, with somehow too dumb for me to explain, but basically combined, you know, the PulseChain, the ETH side of it into one somehow. I'm really excited to see what he has coming, and I think a lot of people, somebody just said in the chat that not enough people are talking about Hedron anymore, and I totally agree with that. You know, remember, when you have those long-term hex stakes, you can claim that as you get closer to the maturity date there. So awesome stuff.